Welcome everyone to episode number 989 of NoDQ video. You know what that means. Only 11 more episodes until episode number 1000, which takes place on August 16th. That date again, August 16th. Please spread the word, tell a friend. For this 1000th edition of NoDQ video, I will be not only answering a lot of your questions, but I also will be proposing my own WrestleMania 34 card and a few other things as well, yet to be announced. Stay tuned for all that, but for now, let's get down to your questions. First one today comes from first-time asker Blug. Can you see Dean Ambrose turning on Seth Rollins the same way Rollins turned on The Shield, or maybe even Rollins doing it again? Interesting. I think that WWE will eventually do a Shield reunion. When remains to be seen, but right now all three members are baby faces. I'm not expecting a heel turn. As much as I would like to see it, I've been talking about this for months now, that Dean Ambrose should turn heel and do something different with his character, take it in a new dark direction. My gut feeling is neither guy will turn. Seth Rollins is on the cover of the video game, so I definitely don't see him turning. Ambrose, WWE had several opportunities over the past year or so to turn him heel, and they chose not to, which leads me to believe it's not going to happen. My feeling is they will be a tag team for a while because WWE really doesn't know what else to do with either guy right now. And then once Roman Reigns is freed up and not in the Universal title picture, I expect we'll see that big epic Shield reunion, probably just for one match, but maybe Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, somewhere around there. I'm guessing we will see a Shield reunion at some point. This one comes from Dave. Given how weak the Raw tag team division is right now, can you see them keeping Ambrose and Rollins as a team for a while? Absolutely. That's another thing you brought up that I did not mention. The fact that WWE is really lacking with tag teams right now, not just Raw, but Smackdown as well. And there's been this speculation about WWE possibly doing a second superstar shakeup and doing 2 a year instead of 1. Maybe you could even consider moving Rollins and Ambrose over to Smackdown and boosting the tag division over there. But with Sheamus and Cesaro being the tag team champions right now and being a heel tag team, I think for the time being it would be best to keep Ambrose and Rollins on Raw, have them feud with Sheamus and Cesaro for a while and see where it goes before moving them perhaps over to the SmackDown Live brand. But I would expect them to be a team at least until Roman Reigns is able to reunite with them and WWE can do the full-fledged Shield reunion and take advantage of it when all three guys are on the same brand. This one comes from Kyle Allen. Has the brand split 2.0 been a mixed bag in your view? I would say so. I think that the brand split has its pros and cons. For me, the biggest pro is guys are not getting overexposed. Before, you would have guys appearing on both shows and the characters would get stale a lot quicker. The downside is the single branded pay-per-views, in my opinion, because when you do those pay-per-views, it just doesn't feel as big of a deal as when you have both rosters on the same show. And also, you're having guys still getting lost in the shuffle despite there being a brand split. You would think that with a brand split, more guys would have the opportunity to shine, and I think they are. I just think that WWE still is too crowded with too many wrestlers, and there's only so many spots on each brand. And even with Raw as a 3-hour show, we're seeing guys getting lost in the shuffle. But that's not really the fault of the brand extension. That's just the nature of WWE right now, with them signing so many people and not having enough spots for the talents. Even with NXT, I think, WWE perhaps called up too many NXT guys And people are asking me, well, who's going to be the next NXT guy to get called up? I think they need to slow it down a little bit. I do see Bobby Roode and Asuka being called up soon, but beyond that, I think you need to slow it down for a while. And I could potentially, if there's another superstar shakeup, I could see maybe a few guys that were formerly in NXT going back to NXT, people like Apollo Crews that have really gotten lost in the shuffle and haven't been doing anything. I could see them go into NXT and seeing what happens there and see if they can be relevant again and be utilized better. This one comes from Wrestling Fan 94. Has the brand split further damaged the WWE brand? Nobody seems to have any chemistry when they work together. I do not blame the brand extension for people having a lack of chemistry. It can happen whether you have everybody on one brand or whether you have two brands. It's bound to happen. Sometimes guys are not going to have the chemistry working together. We saw this past week with Battleground, the Shinsuke Nakamura and Baron Corbin match just didn't connect, and that's going to happen. And it would not matter if you had a combined brand and you still book that match, it's still going to have the same outcome. I do not see that being a problem. I feel that if the matches come off like guys are not having chemistry, I blame that a lot on the writing and the lack of good storytelling more than anything else, because these guys are professionals, they've been doing it for many years, and they should be able to go out there and have an entertaining match. I mean, Baron Corbin and Nakamura should be able to present something more entertaining. I think part of the problem is the lack of build-up for that match and not giving fans a really solid reason to care about the match. That's a problem. And maybe part of it is also they just didn't work well together, and that's bound to happen. Got this one here from one of my favorites, Aaron Rift is God. What was the biggest disappointment of 2016 and 2017? American Alpha, Austin Aries, or Shelton Benjamin? Looking at the past year since the brand extension started, for me, I think American Alpha has been the biggest disappointment. I remember right before the brand extension when they were still in NXT, they were having killer matches. I was at the live event back in May of 2016 in Portland, and them and the Revival tore the house down. They had a pay-per-view caliber match at this live event that had maybe 2,500 people. And now American Alpha's done. They split up. They're on separate brands now. And I feel that WWE really dropped the ball with those guys. They should have been able to go out there on the main roster in front of the casual fans and have a great performance, and they never got that opportunity. So I would definitely say American Alpha is at the top. A big disappointment for me has been the shakeup, because Smackdown Live was a great show. And then once they did this shakeup, Smackdown has taken a hit in quality. And I do not understand why The Miz was moved over. The Miz was doing so well on Smackdown Live. You know, I think you should move guys that could benefit from a fresh start somewhere else on the other side. But in The Miz's case, he was doing excellent on SmackDown Live, and I think that that was a bad idea, and there were some other moves. Moving Charlotte to SmackDown, that has been a big disappointment, I would say, as far as over the past year. The moments in the brand extension that could have been better. Charlotte was a top star on Raw, and she went to SmackDown and has barely made any kind of an impact whatsoever. This one comes from Larby. I think that Ty Dillinger and Sami Zayn will work amazing as a tag team. Do you think it's a good idea? Sure. Going back to that earlier question, you have a lack of solid tag teams in WWE right now. WWE just recently split up a couple of teams. So why not put Ty Dillinger and Sami Zayn together? It seems like they got nothing else really going on. Sami's been doing fairly well, but Ty Dillinger is barely getting TV time. It seems like they work well together and have a good dynamic together. So I'm all for it. I think it's a good idea. Get them in the mix. Maybe turn New Day heel and have Sami Zayn and Ty Dillinger go for the tag team titles. How about that? I just want to see New Day turn heel more than anything else. But certainly Sami Zayn and Ty Dillinger, excuse me, can move up the ladder, maybe past the Fashion Police. Quite frankly, I think the Fashion Police, it's just a comedy act, but I think Sami Zayn and Ty Dillinger could potentially be a major force in the tag team division instead of focusing on comedy tag teams. Got this one here from Mr. Yuck. What is next for Kane in WWE? What role might he play if returning, or will that next Hall of Fame close his career? I think Kane is pretty much done as a full-time performer. He might come back every now and then for a big match if there's a good opportunity for him to come back, but clearly he is focusing on life after wrestling. He's got this bid for mayor in Knox County going on, I believe 2018, next year, or 2019, I'm not sure off the top of my head, but he's focusing on that right now. He's doing other things, and if he wanted to get involved again, I'm sure WWE would happily do something with him. Probably not have him wrestle on a full-time basis, but I could see him maybe having 1 or 2 more matches before calling it a career. I doubt he's going to get a run with the WWE title or anything like that, but I could see him maybe having one last WrestleMania match before calling it a career. That I would not rule out. This one comes from Russo Booked Your Mom with the Linkin Park avatar. Do you see WWE ever doing an angle where the Money in the Bank holder runs out of time and doesn't cash in within a year? Not unless WWE wants the holder to be portrayed as the biggest dumbass of all time, which that's not in WWE's blood. They do not do stupid things like that. That might be something Russo would do, or WCW would do, or TNA, book somebody like that just to swerve everybody. The only way I could see something like that happening is if somebody got hurt. You know, if, let's just say, Baron Corbin was going to wait until WrestleMania, but then Corbin got injured in February and was going to be out for 6 months, then they could work that into a storyline where he got screwed out of the contract because his time ran out due to injury. They could do something like that, but I only see that happening if WWE has no other choice. But I do not see WWE willingly booking somebody to be that dumb. This one comes from Aaron Rift Rules. Do you think it would be a good or bad idea to take a multi-man feud with regards to Lesnar, or is it better to be 1 versus 1? I think in most cases it's best to do one-on-one matches. I think that's what tends to be the bigger draw, to do the one-on-one battles. But in the case of the SummerSlam main event, the Fatal 4-Way, I'm looking forward to this match. I think it has the potential to be the best Fatal 4-Way match in WWE history, as I talked about in one of the previous videos. So in this particular case, I'm fine with it. And maybe it's WWE's way of being able to get the title off Lesnar if he's planning to do a UFC fight in the next 6 months. Maybe that's why they're booking the Fatal 4-Way match. Maybe they just want to do something else where it doesn't result in Lesnar or Reigns taking the fall. But regardless, I'm fine with it. I think the match will be very fun, very exciting to watch. I would not like to see that happen all the time, but if you do it every now and then, it's cool. I mean, remember that triple threat with Lesnar and Seth Rollins and John Cena from the 2015 Rumble? Excellent match, and that was a triple threat. This is a Fatal 4-Way match between 4 monster trucks. I think it has a lot of potential to be a match of the year contender, honestly. Got this one here from Brett. Do you feel as if the US title is pretty much the top title on SmackDown Live until there is a WWE title change? I would agree with you on that, although I was disappointed with the US title match at the pay-per-view, and the title has been flip-flopping back and forth, so that's not really helping the title very much. But there's that saying, it's the man that makes the title, not the title that makes the man. And I would definitely say that in regards to the WWE title right now and the US title. AJ or Kevin Owens, when they hold a title, it means something. Jinder Mahal? Not so much. So yeah, I think right now of the 2 titles, I feel like the US title means more. But Quite frankly, not by a lot because of the way the US title has been booked with all the back and forth title changes and the matches not really being very memorable, you know. I think that if Owens and AJ went out there and had a match of the year contender for the title, you know, like a Ricky Steamboat, Randy Savage classic, or The Rock versus Triple H in a ladder match or something really memorable, then yeah, it would definitely be the #1 title. This one comes from Notorious Kane. The Y is silent. Thoughts on Smacking Talk? Did you do that on purpose with the Y there because the Y is silent? Just wondering. I enjoyed it. I thought Smacking Talk was fun. Daniel Bryan getting to do some comedy with Chad Gable. I liked it, but it was too short. I wanted to see more. I guess that's a good thing. You know, they probably did it to test the waters and see what kind of reaction it got. And I think we all want the regular Talking Smack to return, but if they do like a 5-minute thing every week and just be able to have the creative freedom, then, you know, it will not be the worst thing in the world. At least it will be something. It kind of reminds me of Z True Long Island Story before WWE totally ruined that. If these guys can just do some fun stuff every week and post it on social media, then I'm all for it, you know. If it results in the guys being able to do stuff outside the box and be creative with angles and skits, why not? Keep it going. That'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ Video, episode number 989. 11, well, now that we're done, 10 to go. We got episode number 990 coming up, and of course, episode 1000, August 16th. Tell a friend, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, MySpace if you're still on MySpace. Anywhere, any site you go on, anybody you know who watches wrestling, hardcore fan, casual fan, somebody who hates wrestling. Maybe they could become a wrestling fan by watching this video, and maybe they'll find my viewpoints to be interesting and they'll consider tuning into something and becoming a fan. You never know. It does not hurt to try. So please spread the word, tell somebody about this video, share it, all that good stuff, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding SummerSlam, and I will see you guys next time.